everybody, Kofuku's back, and today we're going to be talking about the difference between regular cops and what the libertarians like to refer to as road pirates. The major difference is cops are your average regular police that respond to crimes, and then there's road pirates. Road pirates are the police that hide behind things on the street to try to trip you up, to try to catch people who are speeding. Road pirates are the ones that will pull you over when you're not endangering any other traffic. I saw a post on Facebook the other day about someone finding it funny when people try to run from the police, and I made a comment about how if you're on a motorcycle, you probably could, because almost always it's not worth the effort to chase a motorcycle, because you're frankly not going to catch them unless they're an idiot and don't know how to ride. And someone took that and responded with, "This is why I hate motorcyclists." And I don't understand that kind of a comment because, for one, you're generalizing a group of people. For two, why should we support random income acquisition by police departments? Traffic infractions, that's all they are. There's just ways for the department to make money. They have very little to do with actual safety, which tends to be true of a lot of restrictive laws in most things. They don't have anything to do with real safety or protecting anybody. They're just some misguided attempt at solving a problem that doesn't exist. Now, I'm not a libertarian, but I get a lot of where they're coming from when it comes to the road pirates. And especially on a motorcycle, the only person you're endangering, if you drive like an asshole on a bike, is yourself. Because a motorcycle ain't going to do that much damage to a car, and it certainly ain't going to kill anybody, unless it's a pedestrian. But, if you wreck on a bike, you're pretty screwed, at least if you're at any sort of speed, especially if you're not wearing appropriate gear. If you're speeding on a road with no other traffic, it doesn't matter if you're going 80 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, or even what the speed limit is, unless, you're in a residential area. But if you're just in transit, then it doesn't really matter how fast you're going if you're still driving safely. Speed by itself should not even be a crime, let alone the intrinsic problem with charging a fee for breaking a law. You're creating debtor's prisons, because if you don't pay a traffic ticket, you can lose your license. So someone who can't afford a sudden $90 to $300 expense for speeding when they weren't endangering anybody else, they were just driving at an advanced speed. Now they're without a license, which can lead to jail time if they continue to drive, which they would have to, because public transit is basically non-existent in the States. Unless you live in a very dense populated area, your chances for public transport are bullshit. You can't afford to take a taxi every day, because if you couldn't afford to pay the ticket, how can you afford paying $20 to go to work every day? And that's basically the point. If I talk about road pirates, know that I'm not talking about the regular police force. I'm talking about the cops having a bad day, and they're bored, and they're sitting there just trying to catch people because they like that rush of power. And they pull you over just because they can, and they'll write infractions just because they can. This isn't as bad of a problem in my home state of Michigan as it is in places like New York, where they're straight up Gestapo in terms of traffic infractions. They will pull you over for the stupidest bullshit, and they'll give you a ticket, and the ticket prices are higher there. So just know, I'm not saying anything bad about real law enforcement. It's just the fucking traffic cops extorting people on the freeway when they're not endangering anyone else. Alright, I think that wraps it up for today's video. This has been Kofuku, first video from the new house, and I'll catch you next time.